ARK The Animated Series. Perhaps one of the singularly most woke shows I have seen in quite some time. That's saying something.
Yeah, no, this one takes the cake, especially. There is no, good white people in this show. They're all bad.
And we have the biggest Mary Sue I have seen since Ray.
Yes!
Actually, no. I think I'd put her above Ray, because, okay, our main character is introduced, and the definition of Mary Sue is, in essence, somebody who could do anything and everything.
Yes.
And she can. She picks up archery in a weekend. She becomes a military leader, more or less overnight. She cures an incurable disease within 2 days. And everyone she meets loves her. Every person, even the villains, when they have her at their mercy, refuse to kill her because they like her. The main character picks her up and saves her from death because he likes her. The evil general spares her from death because he likes her. The evil woman centurion spares her from death because she likes her. Even the animals instantly love her.
Yeah, no, everybody loves her. While she was alive, because everybody that goes to the Ark dies, right? Or had to have died to get there. While she was alive, she's like, what if evolution was wrong? And that's what she does, because she's like a paleontologist or something. It claims to be a quote-unquote scientist. And she's like, evolution is wrong. And people are like, what? That's dumb. And she's like, but I'm a woman. And they make it a whole point to be like, in the crowd, be like, oh, but she's a woman, and she got arrested. Why are we trusting her credentials? And they're trying to do that bad white people judging her because of her race.
Okay, so yeah, this scientist paleontologist is like, maybe evolution didn't happen at all. Maybe we should just be nice to animals, and animals will love us and shit, and we can do whatever we want with them.
And
she puts this into practice, and it works. In the Ark, she tames an entire pack of stegosauruses by feeding one of them an apple.
Yep. She goes up, they feed it, they attack its child, and they hold up fruit to it, and the animals look at that and oh, we love humans now. And now we'll go fight and die for you.
And they do. And also, I cannot resist the irony of the lesbian, the genetic dead end, as you put it, Kyle.
Yes.
The thing that's
true.
She has a speech where she says, what was it? Evolution is response to the species' needs. In the current day and age, where ever more people are queer or LGBTPIL elemental plus whatever. What does that evolution says about humanity? Humanity needs to go away now.
Yeah, it means that we've become a genetic dead end, or at least those people have.
So much of the species have become genetic waste.
Yeah, it's just a waste of space, really. The show teaches some weird morals here. I'm just saying.
And the plot is all over the place. So,
oh god.
Obviously, being a woke show, the female characters receive constant affirmation at everything they do, usually multiple times. So, one of the other female characters, a little indigenous girl, comes up with the brilliant strategy of, hey, what if we scout our enemy's position and then contact our allies? And I was like, oh my god, you're a genius.
Tactical genius. I never thought about that. We were just gonna, and the worst part is the council, any of the men on the council are like, what should we do? And they're like,
are there any men on the council? Oh yeah, there's
two.
the one Indian.
There's the Indian and the black guy. And their whole strategy is like, well, maybe we shouldn't do anything. I don't know. We don't know what to do. Let's not do anything. And the women are like, we gotta fight back. And the men are like, I don't know. Maybe we should regroup away from them. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. That's ironically them the entire show.
She is praised for this tactical innovation 3 times and becomes their primary strategist thereafter.
They're like, holy
Even though none of her plans are carried out virtually at all. Ah, god. And yes, so Chinese lesbian, because of course lesbian, because main character lesbian, thus love interest. And that's the worst part too, okay? They complained about how this is the classic trope, alright? Man meets woman, woman instantly looks at man and goes like, man, male character, babies. Same exact thing happens here. The two characters meet, and they're both like, oh, hey, sex?
Literally instantly, too, by the way. Right after they kill the white dude, as he's about to say something misogynistic. Because when she first arrives on the Ark, there's this white American soldier who's like, I was fighting Nazis. And then she's like, yeah, well, that's not that impressive. Like, I was fighting white people. And then she says something misogynistic, and then he proceeds to die.
Oh, right. Yes, so the white people in the show exist only to provide the point that, oh, this is a dangerous world. The diverse people do not die. So she meets the U.S. soldier. He begins to say something misogynistic, is instantly killed. Then she meets a little ginger child from Ireland who are fighting against the British. He's instantly killed. Then she meets a white woman, and next episode, she's dead too.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the diversity body count remains steadfastly at 0 up until the last episode, where one of them raises a death flag so enormous you could cover the moon's surface with it.
Yep, he writes a whole letter about it too. He's like, because they're off to do the final battle.
Oh, yes.
And he's like, I'm gonna write a letter and basically be like, so like, adopted daughter, I'm gonna die because I'm really bad at fighting. Just so you know.
Literally. The letter is, daughter, you were always the leader we needed. Please don't mourn me. I'm off to kill myself.
I'm also a male character. You're perfect in every conceivable way. This is what I get for questioning you, queen. Slay. And then dies.
Pretty much. And, okay, so again, the show commits the same error as every single one of these god-awful shows, in that the villain does literally nothing wrong. The Centurion does nothing wrong. They try so hard. There's a scene where he's with the Chinese chick, and he's going like, you know, you're a pretty good fighter. You got plot armor, at least 17 inches thick. Like, Jesus, we could be friends, you and I. She says, I would never be friends with you. And he goes, why? Like, because you're a murderer and a slaver. This woman is a yellow turban rebel.
Yes.
They committed countless atrocities. She's Chinese, ancient Chinese. They had tons of slavery. That was literally what they did to all of their prisoners of war.
Yeah, no. She's not in the right at all. She tries to pretend like she has some weird moral high ground above this Roman general when they are identical. If not,
yes.
His goal was to restore Rome to its former glory. Her goal was to kill the Han dynasty and bring China into chaos and ruin.
I mean, literally, her argument is that you're a murderer. Her entire backstory, as we see in flashbacks, is her murdering people.
Yep.
That is her entire backstory. They couldn't even come up with a decent rationale for why she shouldn't side with the Centurion. And so all they come up with is, you're a mean old grumpy puss, you are.
She says no repeatedly, and then she's like, you're bad, and you kill and enslave people. And then next episode, they show flashbacks of her killing people, her driving her soldiers into basically death and driving their army into basically suicide in their cause for nothing, as she also greedily assaults the palace by herself, which causes her brother to die because her brother's a male, and also he's completely weak and inept without women power.
Oh god, yes. So she has a brother, and through the entire training session, etc., she saves him, what, 3 times, I think?
Yeah, 3 or 4 times. He dies anyways because she wasn't there to save him because he couldn't,
yes.
help himself.
She was somewhere else, and so he was instantly captured and killed.
When she goes to the palace, there's a confrontation with a big bad Han Chinese dude who's like, you were the strongest one. No one will know that there was a woman that was strong because we're gonna kill you. But I'm gonna monologue at you. And then they shoot her like 3 times, and then she still kills him.
Literally, yes.
And he doesn't even put up a fight.
It's
just so bad.
I guess, because they mentioned the palace, so I guess this is supposed to be the Han Emperor. The Yellow Turban rebels weren't rebelling against the Han Emperor. They were rebelling against the eunuchs who were taking over power in China. They could have read a Wikipedia article and figured this out, but what they probably did was, they just looked into ancient Chinese history. Rebels, yellow turbans, oh, well, they're the rebels. They must be the good guy. No, they were fanatics.
We know this too, because when there's that illness in the village, they're like, oh, we'll use the blue goo to heal people. And then the girl, the Mary Sue character is like, oh, but mitogenesis or whatever I forget what it's called. Some made up, I don't know what it was. It's like, because they eat the plant, the soupy stuff in the egg means that the egg will have the soupy goo that we need to heal the disease that I have no idea I've ever encountered because I'm a virologist now.
Yes, the village is being ravaged by a mysterious disease. In about 5 seconds flat, she figures out how to cure it. How does she cure it? Well, you see, birds eat flowers, and the flowers are an ingredient in the cure, and therefore a bird egg cure.
Yep.
Yes.
And it's not the egg like itself, it's like
Okay.
the egg goo inside of it, you know? Because when a creature's inside an egg, it like shits and pisses itself until it gets out, right? Well, apparently the shit and piss is what they needed to eat. So, whatever.
Whatever, indeed.
This show is just a series of convoluted messes. The characters get captured like 3 times throughout it, by the way. And every time, there's no reason, except for the first time when like she could have been useful. But the second time and the third time, there was no reason for them to spare her. There was no reason to spare her and the second time because they already knew that she killed people, yet they spared her and waited for her to escape. The third time, there was no reason to spare Mei Yu, the love interest character, because she had no use and there was no way to negotiate with them, so they should have killed them, but they didn't. They let them come inside their city. They don't have any watch guards whatsoever. Like, the final battle is just a fucking joke. It's just a shit show.
Story is all over the place and has no thread and no real discernible point at all. The animations are weird, and sometimes they're okay, and then sometimes the frame rate drops drastically.
Yes. I would say that the art style of the show is, like, while it is accurate to the video game, it is horrific. It is actually painful to look at the screen.
Like, the biggest praise I can give it is it's very fan-wanky, to a degree. Like, the focus should have been more on the dinosaurs if it was truly to be a, like, proper ARK show. But they have all of the in-game stuff. So they have the in-game models, the buildings, etc., the armor. All of that is accurate. None of the actual game mechanics beyond the summoning of some of the creatures are in there. And of course, there's no, like, taming or anything. It's weird. It's almost like it's fan-wanky, and at the same time, it isn't. It's an odd mix.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's in the guise of it, right? Like the white dude in the beginning, he dies instantly, but he looks like the base character template from when you start the game. And they tease him in a second season, which there's apparently already going to be one, that he comes back because nobody's ever really gone in these shows. So death doesn't matter. Some people can just be reincarnated, apparently. I don't know. It's weird.
I mean, respawning is a thing in ARK, I guess, so...
How's that gonna explain the Indian dude after he died and went to see his family? He just, like, wakes up again and is like, no, my family. He's like, well, sorry, you're in a shitty video game now. How does that make you feel?
Too bad. You're just gonna keep respawning now.
Like, you don't get to leave. Like, this is your life now. Get used to taming shit.
It's just not very good. And of course, one of the main things too is one of the earliest plot is that the Roman dudes are treating their animals poorly by treating them like animals, essentially, and feeding them meat. It's like, oh, well, this is terrible. This is going to lead to the animals getting all kinds of brutal and cruel and assholish. We never see the other people feed their animals. They only feed them stew, which is cooked by little indigenous girl.
Yeah, that's the funny part. And the worst part is so the quote unquote bad guys are like, they do conditioning to get their animals to not murder them, right? Like, you know, you do with animals. And the other one's like, no, the power of feelings and love.
Literally.
That's why
like,
my stegosaur won't hurt me. Like, they don't understand how animals work. That's not how animals work at all. They don't love you.
That's true. They speak to their goddamn animals, and the animals are like, well, I understand English, so cool, let's be friends. Oh god, there's even a scene where the Tyrannosaurus Rex the lizard Tyrannosaurus Rex cries because it's so happy to see its little Chinese friend again. Like, oh, Chinese friend, please live.
It also cries when it dies. It's like, ooh. Little tear. Oh, God, it was pain. The show was bad on every level.
Show is bad. Yeah, show is bad. That's pretty much just the whole thing of it. Show is bad.
If you want to sum it up in a few words, show bad. Really bad.
Show bad. Show really bad. Oh, God, but I swear to God, the tear in the eye of the T-Rex has got to be just the peak of it all. It's like, no, it's not a ginormous murder lizard or cold-blooded or anything. It's actually a very sympathetic creature. Why? Well, because he was treated with kindness.
Kindness was bad. Love.
Wolf is ultimate power. The show has no story. No story beyond main character good. Main character powerful. Main character do good thing. Main character center of universe. And morality warp around main character. Oh well. Normally I'd say that maybe they do better in the second round, but no. Not in this case. There is simply no salvaging this. No salvaging it. Because there is no story to salvage. There is no setting to salvage. There are no characters to salvage. There is just Mary Sue and the events that spin around her. And that is all.